The uncovered interest rate parity is a simple hypothesis on how traders price exchange rates, and we can bring it to the data and see if we have any evidence that this actually holds. So if the uncovered interest rate parity was true and was really how people make decisions in the exchange rate markets, then we should see that, at least on average, the actual future exchange rate coincide with the expectations that traders had on future exchange rate. This is represented by the first equation that we see on slide 29, which just says that the expected future exchange rate is equal to the actual future exchange rate plus an error term, which is just there because there could be accidental mistakes in the forecast, but on average, as I said before, it should be true that these expectations coincide with the realized future exchange rate. But then we can make forward steps. If it's true that these expectations coincide on average with the actual future exchange rate, then we should see that observed changes in the exchange rate over time, which are represented on the left-hand side of the second formula on slide 29, should directly depend on the interest rate differential between local bonds, for example, and foreign bonds. Finally, since again this relationship should be true on average, we are adding an error term to our equation, that is the small epsilon t that is represented in slide 29. So applied economists have been testing using econometric techniques if this relationship between expected percent changes in the exchange rate, which should coincide on average with observed changes in the exchange rate, and the interest rate differential, these applied economists went to see if there's actually a positive relationship between these changes and the interest rate differential, and surprisingly, they found that a relationship is significant, but it has a negative sign, so it goes in the opposite direction of what the theory predicts. This finding, this anomaly, is known as the forward premium anomaly, and research is active in trying to understand why the data seems to be not consistent with the theory. One of the explanations is based on the fact that trades in these situations, in these circumstances, require the traders to be facing a large amount of risk. So in our simple uncovered interest rate parity hypothesis, we're not really considering the element of risk aversion by traders, and so one of the possible explanations for why the relationship between changes in the exchange rate over time and interest rate differential doesn't go in the direction that we would expect according to the theory might be related exactly to this risk aversion by traders.